Good evening, everyone. My name is Liliana, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. If you want to know, maybe you don't, but just in case you're interested. So I'm from Venezuela. I've been here about 9 years, and I currently work as a data analyst, and as well I am a lead of the Python track. So if any one of you know, we have Women Who Code Global. We have the local chapters all around the world. As well, we have now online communities. And I am with the Women Who Code Python. And I've been working there for about 6 months. It's been great. We just launched that this year. And if you're interested, you can get back to me after. We held events every month. And we also have a Slack channel as well. And we are held in study groups. We're growing a community around the world. We have people from different countries. And I'm here tonight to talk to you about data analysis with Pandas. And some of you might be familiar with Pandas, some of you know. And I fell in love with Pandas. First, it's fat, it's cute, it's big.
Lovely.
I don't know, he's just lovely. So, and I started looking at it because I work here as a data analyst and I work with SQL every day. And in my company, I didn't see another choice of learn something else right now. So I started looking because I wanted to go to the data science stack, and I started learning on my own. I learned Python a few years ago, just the core Python, but I never used it. And you know, whenever you don't use something, you just lose it all. So I decided to keep going back to it because now these days we have data science, which is a hot topic, and everyone wants to be a data science right now. And they talk about Python and they talk about data science right away. And it's a really good tool, it's a really good package. And for most of the companies right now, they are using it. They have this other language that they use, which is R, which is similar. And it's really competitive. There is a lot of discussion about which one do you use. I just say it all depends. You have to learn whatever the way it will take you. If you have the opportunity to learn both, of course, I will learn both. So this is a notebook I built out. It's on my GitHub. If anyone wants to launch it right now, you can launch it. You can run the code itself. So if you go, my name is Liliana3186. If you search for me in there, you'll have the binder launch and you will have the Collab launch. And if you do it, you can just run the code as I'm gonna go through. That's what I'm gonna do right now.
I've never used this before, so I'm just curious, what is the binder launch? What is Collab launch? What is that?
So what it does, it will create a container and it will run in the environment right now for me to run the code. So you don't have to have anything installed in your computer to run it.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yes, it's amazing. I just love it. I actually didn't know any of this before. I never even used GitHub before. It's been 4 months using it. I screwed it all up today. But I came back with some part of the presentation, and I'm here.
That's too real.
So now you have Collab from Google, which is really, really great tool. Because if you have a question for coding, you just share a link to the other person, and the other person can add code in there, and you can see what they're doing, and they can help you out. Like, I use it all the time. Now that we have these tracks and it's online, people ask me questions, and I say, how do I help them? Sometimes we don't know how to ask things, and that's really important. And I learned Stack Overflow, of course, that's my best friend. We are gonna get married next month. Everyone's And before I start with this, I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming tonight. And before I left this morning, my mom told me what I was gonna do tonight. And I said, I'm not coming back home early tonight. I'm just going to give a talk. And I told her this is about programming, data analysis. And she was like, do you think somebody's gonna show up? I was like, okay, I just believe someone is gonna show up, maybe. I really appreciate it because she says, but that's so bored. People should probably be home watching Netflix. Right? So thank you very much for coming.
I don't take a picture of this room here, Mom.
Hold on, I got it.
Oh, what's your mom's name? Can we say hi?
Susanna.
Susanna. Let's say hi, Susanna. 1, 2, 3. Hi, Susanna! That's fantastic.
So, okay, let's go with the with this. So Pandas is a package that is built on NumPy, and it was really optimized for faster data analysis. So I'm talking too much, right? I'm just gonna go through the code, right?
We want to go.
So let me see if I can just put this a little bigger. Is that better?
Oh, yes. Thank you, my camera.
Okay. Perfect. So this is a data set that is for bookings, for pet bookings. Like whenever you travel and you want to leave, you need to leave your pets and someone has to take care of them, like the dog boarding or the cat's boarding or the dog walking, all those services. So we are going to evaluate a couple things for them, and let's explore the data. What is it about? We have a different couple files that we're going to use. So we have the people _ person, and this will have all the details of each user on the site. It could be someone that offered services, or as well as someone that doesn't offer services. And it could be people that has not done any transactions at all. Also, we have pets _ pet, which is a file that contains the user that the user had added a pet. One owner can have one pet or can have more than one pet, or vice versa. So we also have service _ service, and it will be all the pet care services we have. So it will store each record that is offered, and each user can have more than one service, but not the same type. So it could be just one type, but they could have several different services. We have also conversations _ conversation, which is an owner that can book a service provider by starting a conversation with them. So that means they will start a conversation and they will decide if they eventually book. We have conversations _ conversations and pets, and because the book might involve a couple conversations before they decide if they want to book it out, that's where we track all those records. And we have conversations and message, which is a series of messages, but it can contain many, but it does not vice versa. And we have conversations _ review. If the booking occurs, they have the option to leave a review for the service, and it has a rating from 1 to 5. So now what we're going to do is import the package, which is the Pandas package. I always import the NumPy, even if I don't need to use it, just in case. Because if I forget and then I get those errors like, I don't understand what it's saying, please help me to translate another language. So I just import both of them. And what we are doing next, we are reading the data. So I'm assigning a variable name for each one, and I'm reading a CSV file, and I'm just putting the location of each file. That's one of each one. All the ones that I went through it, we have all of them right there. So I just named in the same name of the file, so it's easy to remember which one is H. So now we will begin answering some questions about the business to get to know more the data. And I just want to point that out before I continue. Pandas is huge. It's a huge package. You're never gonna know everything. Your best friend is Google to find sometimes how to do it or another way how to do it. I could be doing this tonight in a way that someone else could have done it in a different way. And you can do one thing, 5 different forms to do it. So the most important is to keep learning, and the way to make it a little easier and faster to understand and to use it for you. And it depends on what you're using it for. So we're gonna look how many users have signed up. So because the users are in the people, that person, we are gonna take a look of that data set, which is people underscore that person, and we will use the head method to check it out, the first five rows that we have in there, just to see how the data it looks like. You can also have heard about the tail, the method tail, that it will give you the last 5. So as you see in there, we have ID, first name, last name, we have email, we have channel, we have date that joined, we have photo, we have gender as well. So now we have an idea what it's looking for. The data, and we see that we have some null data as well. So now we're gonna count them, so we will, just answer me. I'm done, thank you. You just answered me. Okay, there it is. Okay. So we're just gonna count it, and how we count it, we just call the data set. I'm just assigning it to count users, and I'm pointing the ID to count it with the method count. And if some of you work with SQL, I had a really, really hard time trying to translate things from SQL to Pandas, and I still struggle because it's a different way how you see the data and how you analyze it. And if you're, like for me, it's just challenging because sometimes in a query you can put everything together. And sometimes you have to like put separate parts and figure it out how to do it. And it's just a little challenging to read it. I just go right there, my mind goes to write SQL automatically, which is, it's just a practice. It's like everything is practice, just to switch your mind to the different ways. Because both are important for data science and data analytics. You need to have both. You always need to have SQL. It's really, really important. And some companies are gonna just have to use SQL. And some companies, you're gonna have the opportunity to do these things as well. So we count the users, and we have 64,393. So that's the records that we have for them. We can also do it by doing a multi-index, and I just set an index in there, and I'm just saying send me an index in ID and gender, and count me there with the level of gender. So I wanted to see how many do I have by gender, in female and male. As you see, we have more males. Why? That's not right, but you know. But yeah, that's how you can also look at in grouping it by different ones. Now, if we want to look how many users have signed up prior February 3rd, 2018. So what I do, I'm gonna add access to my data frame, and I'm going to access to one of their columns, which in this case is the date joined, because it's telling me a specific data I have to look for. And this is when it starts getting tricky, that you have to remember you have to call the data frame, and then you have to inside call the data frame again, and then you can say what is the column that you want. And and then you say the date that you wanted, and then you point what do you want to count on, and then it will be the ID, and then you just count it. And then it will give you how many do we have right now for that specific date. So this is always like, usually like warm-ups for the data. Let's just look the numbers. Let's just see what they are doing, because the business usually asks questions. And it is all depends on what the business asks, and all depends what the data you're looking for. So now we are going to look at the percentage of the users that have added pets. So I go back to look the data how it looks like, to have an idea how is that structure. So I have ID, I have name and description, I have the weight, the birth date, if he plays with children and dogs, if he's spayed, if he's house trained. That's for the pets. And then we also have the people, that person. Why am I looking at both? Because I need to see how many pets are being added. So I need to see how many owners I have uniquely, and I need to also see how many pets. So if you look here at the next line, it says total added pets is what I name it from, and I say I'm just calling the pets data set, and I'm just saying the owner ID if it's unique. So pick me all the unique owner IDs that I have in there, and that's the total it gets me. Now what I'm doing here, I'm just calling the people that person ID, how many unique IDs do I have. So I'm just doing a simple calculation of percentage. So in here, I will calculate the total added pets by 100, and I just divide it by 2 the users, and I'll have the total. You could have done that in one step. I just wanted to show you like step by step. And I'll give you the 80.43%. Now the number 4 is how many users have been added on average. Now we will need to use the total user and calculate from those that have been added. So we will use the total added pet, or that is what I call it from. We'll call the pets, the pet and data set, and we counted the IDs. So we will have the 77,730. Now the other average will be the total added pet divided by all the pets divided by the total added pets. So that will give you the average of how many have been added. Simple calculations that you can also do in one. I'm just doing separate because I always like to see the process, and it all depends on how do you want to do it. And also because I'm not a master on this, I'm always learning, and I would love, like, someone is here like want to say something or add something, I would love that. It's always welcome to share and to learn with each other. So now with the book ratings, what is the average and how does it look, the ratings in the total per each star? Like we have a star from 1 to 5. So I'm looking at conversations under the score review and to see what I have in there, and I have the ID, I have the content, I have the conversations ID, I have the reviewer ID, who is the person who wrote the review, and I have the stars. And I also have the conversations, because I will need both of them to be able to answer that question. I have the ID, I have the start date and end date, I have the booking totals, if they cancel, the ID, the service ID, and what time did they book it at, and if they cancel it or not, because they could be able to book it and they have the chance to cancel it if they wanted it at a certain point. And then we have people that person, which we look at it before. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to join those. I have to join 3 tables or 3 data sets of files that I have in there. So the way that I did it was I'm using a marriage, and I'm merging, because both of them are related with the people person. I'm just using the merge, and I'm just using the conversation and using the merge. I'm calling conversations with people person because they are related between the requested ID, whoever is requesting it, and the ID of the people. Now with that result set, I'm just adding in the next line, I'm just taking that result and joining it with the conversations review. I'm not saying how I'm joining it, so that means I'm doing an inner join. Now in the next one, I'm doing a left join because it might be some that they don't have any reviews. So I need to include those to look at the data and do some evaluations with. So I'm saying on the left is because the data set that is on the left is using request ID, and the one is on the right is using review ID. But in this one, I'm saying how left. We have many other options to add in there, but we add them as we needed to. In this case, I just needed that. So now, to be able to answer that question, I have to remove the ones. First, I have to remove the ones that they haven't booked yet, because I don't want to count those. And I want to remove the ones that already canceled, because I don't need those to get my calculations. So I'm just doing, it's no, and then cancel out will be no, because if it has a date, they already canceled that booking. And then now in here, I'm just gonna use group by, and I'm going to say stars, reviewer ID, count me the reviewer's ID per star. So I can take a look at the data and see what does the data tell me? Are they really are we having good reviews? Are we having bad reviews? What is the percentage that we have? And it looks like we have a lot of good reviews. We have, for 5, we have mostly the reviews, and then from 1, 2, and 3. Then now I look here at the average just to see, and of course by looking at just each, you can see that it's almost like between 4 and 5. Now for these services, I want to answer how many they have offer that they can provide injecting medication. As you know, many pets these days, they need injected medication every day. Like my cat, she needs everyday insulin in the mornings and at night. And I need to find always someone that helps with that. And that's an important rule because not everyone is gonna go and take a cat and do that for a cat. They are nervous about it. I will be. The first time I did it, I was. So I will take a look at this other data set, which is service_service. And we have the service different types. We have boarding, dog walking, daycare, etc. We have cancellation policies. If they take oral medication, if they can provide it, or they can provide injected medication, special needs, senior dogs, etc. And I'm just looking for the ones that they provide injections. So how I wanted to look it at, I just wanted to use a pivot table, which a lot of people know it in Excel as well. And sometimes it's really helpful in here just to take a look. It depends on what you really want. It's not needed all the time, but it's really helpful whenever you want to group things and see how they look like. So in this case, I use it I'm calling the service as service, and then I'm calling pivot_table. I'm saying my index is gonna be service type. I have service type 0 and 1. 0 means that they are not, and 1 means that they are. And then I'm just saying, give me the column projected injected medication and the value ID, count me them. So it's grouping me by them, and it's giving me per each service type, how many people do I have that offers that service. Because I could say I need more business for that. Maybe a lot of people are looking at that, and it just all depends on what they are looking for. Now in here, I'm just looking what is the total of the bookings we have per service. And in here, I went back to the data set just in case I didn't miss anything or I needed to look at something. And then I'm doing again a merge. So I'm putting together, I'm using the removes, which is the previous one I used before, that I joined the 3 tables and the 3 data sets or tables, and I'm using it and I put it together with the service because that other one has the ID for the provided ID. So I'm just adding it in here so I could have the service type, because the service type is on service_services, but I have the ID in the other one. I'm just pulling it from there. So I'm just saying, from this one service, I could choose to pick all the columns if I want them, or I could just decide I can use 2. I just need 2 right now. I'm just gonna use 2, and that's what I'm saying there. And I'm joining and then merging them together with service ID and ID. Now I'm just using info just to see all the columns I have, which is another way to look at all the column names that I have in here. Now what I'm going to do to get that, I'm just going to use a group by. I'm going to group them by the service type. I'm going to sum them, and I'm going to sort the values by service type. I just choose that, and I'm just going to pull the booking total so I can see the amounts they have in booking totals. We can even add dates. We can even add more filtering, and this has been an exploratory things I've been doing just to keep growing my knowledge and to keep learning about other data sets. Because daily I work with different data sets, and whenever they ask me about, let's evaluate this data set, and you have to learn about the data. You have to understand how the data works. I work with different kind of data, but I don't work with all the data at all the companies. And it's important you get to know the data. It's important you get to know how it works for the business, what they're trying to do, what they're trying to accomplish. And it's usually not gonna be beautiful data, it's not gonna be super clean. This is a clean data, and most of the time you have to clean the data, but I didn't wanna come here tonight just show you how to clean data, because I think that's boring, how to clean the data. That's a part that you have to do, and it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated, but it's just explaining it I think it's something that people can really do it, learning it easy. But I think the part of the analysis and what I'm bringing you tonight, and it's just get to know your data, evaluate it, look it at, get it familiar, and that way you can do a lot of more things. Even though if you don't know all the code and you don't know how to do all the settings or how you do all the things, if you're currently learning, know the data is the most important thing. It's the most important thing. The rest, leave it to Google.
I'm tweeting.
Yeah, leave it to Google. No, and I'm right. My boss, he's great at databases and data set, but he looks at stuff in Google as well. He has a knowledge. His brain, I just want to steal his brain. It's just like he has a memory incredible that I don't have, and sometimes I have to just Google more because he knows more. But it's just sometimes people believe that they just have to know everything. And you just have to be always open to learn more and to know more and just to look the ways for and show always that in there. I just heard a few people that they were saying they were going to boot camp, and I don't know if you guys work in technology or not, but if you're trying to change, all those things are really important. And you have to show it in there, because whatever you want to do, you can make it happen. And you have to show the other person you can make it happen. And you just make it happen. So this was a little overview of the data analysis. And this is on my GitHub. I am developing this as well. And I have a lot of more analysis on it that I want to add on, because I'm just practicing. And the more you practice, the better you get. And of course, whenever you do data analysis, it comes the other package with each is Matplotlib, and you will look at the data in graphics. But we could take all night if I kept putting all of that tonight. It was gonna take like the whole night. So I just wanted to keep it short, and I just wanted to show that it's huge, it's big, it's nice, it's great, it has great things, and if you have any questions, let me know.
I have one. So earlier you mentioned that the default join is the inner join. And I just wondered, are there, and there's, you stayed left to right, are there also outer joins like
Yes,
this?
you have, the how is that what it would tell you what you just put in there.
I was wondering, what library did you use to like access like the merge and the group by features, or is that just automatically in Google Collab?
You mean, can you repeat that?
Oh, like what library did you import a certain library to like access these
Pandas.
like functions, or it's just in Pandas?
Yeah,
It's just all pandas. That's what I did in the first line,
Okay,
which
that's
I
what I was
say,
wondering.
if I go here to the first line, these are the libraries. I really didn't use NumPy, I just do it automatically, but you have import pandas as PD.
I didn't know you could use like some SQL function.
Yes, so you will import those libraries and then you can use them. So whenever I start like reading, it says PD that read underscore CSV, I'm calling this PD in here. I'm calling it here to be able to read it. If I don't import it, I will get an error. You can do that as well. You can import a connector as well, and you can just write the query like you write it in SQL. And you can use ORMs, this is what it's called, and you can just write the query.
You can also use APIs.
APIs too.
You can use JSON files.
JSON files, and you can even convert them in there. It all depends on what the business has. most of the times it's easier to do it in here. And if you do it by queries, you wouldn't do all those functions I did. You would just run the query, which is for me is a lot easier. I guess just because I've been doing it for a long time, and it's just I just go automatically and get the result easier. While here I have to think about it a little bit more. Any more questions?
So, have you copied the code here just for the purpose of presenting, or can you actually run right here?
You can run, I can just run it right now. You can just run it in your computer right now as well. Oh, I believe I have to copy into my, but this is not my computer.
Sorry. Also, it's my work computer.
So if I go here, you have to copy it in your Google Drive, and then you can run it.
Okay.
If you see this option in here, you can copy in your Google Drive, and you can just run it. You have all the data sets in there. You can run all of this on your own, and also in here in my presentation, if I go back, if I go to my GitHub in here, it looks like I miss a T, if you see. So if you go here, you also have Binder, which will give you an environment. It will build the whole environment for you so you can run it. It takes a little bit, but I just want to show you.
For Binder, you don't have to install like Intercom or
Nothing. You don't have to install anything. You don't have to have it. And in Collab, you just have to copy it into your Google Drive. It's just, this is not my computer.
Can you also share your GitHub name again?
Yes, it is Liliana, Liliana, 3186.
326?
3186. This one takes a little bit. That's what I don't like from Binder. So if you see here, I have my Jupyter notebook, and I have my data sets, I have images, I have my README and my requirements. So if I go here, it will open me the notebook. This is the Jupyter notebook. And you were asking for, Claire, this is the Jupyter notebook that I was talking about. Because I was saying, she asked me, do you have a presentation? I said, I have a Jupyter notebook. And she didn't ask me what it was, but I thought she knew. And she told me today, I don't know what you're talking about.
It's been a long day.
So, and then if I go here, I can just start running the code, and it won't give me an error. I can just, oh, give me an error. Sweet.
I have a question. Sorry about
Yes.
So if you were using this, let's say for your client, how would you make this more of a deliverable? Like, something that your client could understand?
So you won't deliver this to your client. This will do it for you. So you get the information and the analysis, and you will have to present it to your client. Like if you're going to present reports, you would just put it in a report. You could do an SSRS report, you could do a Tableau report. We have different BI tools that people use. This is more for you to analysis. Like in data science right now, what they do they just clean the data, they just analyze the data, they just look at it in the with the libraries where they can do graphics, and then after that they do all the modeling and everything, and they get the results. They have to go and present it, and to present it, they have to pass it to these BI tools, which is Tableau, Power BI, SSRS. Mostly they use these days Tableau and Power BI for those. And SSRS, still people use it for reporting, but I'm not sure if data scientists are using it. But yeah, that's what you would do to present it. But this is for you to work on and look, because you could have the questions and you could answer them, but you will answer it for you, and then you will have to do a presentation for them. Because whenever you are going to talk to the business, you have to have a presentation and you have to explain it. You are not going to show all of this code. You are not going to show all those data sets. You are just going to say, this is what we have based on this, and you will explain why do we have it and how did you evaluate it. But it's like talking to a kid. You are not talking. No, it's for real, because the business people don't understand the code. If you start talking technical, and then they wouldn't understand you. So you have to wear many hats in data science and in data analysis. Like for example, today I had I had a meeting with the director of bankruptcy, and we were explaining, my boss was explaining things of the dashboards I'm building for them, and I cannot go ahead and show them my SQL queries because they are not going to understand. I just explained to them, hey, this is the money that you have in bankruptcy right now. This is what it shows grouped by the lots, the queues that you wanted to see. This is the percentage that you have, and based on how many cases you have and grouping by all these queues, this is what you can see. And based on that, they know that they have queues, they have dollar amounts per cases and transactions, they understand that. But if I go and show this to them, they're gonna say, I don't understand. Make sense? So I don't know why Binder doesn't work.
They can't find files.
Your what is it?
It's,
Can't find
yeah,
files.
it's,
It's not your
yeah,
sheet.
It's
it
not
is.
saved in your hard drive.
But I don't think I have to have it saved because I have used it before, but I know Collab works for sure because I just used it yesterday. I downloaded it and I was able to share it and I was able to run it. And even though you can download it in your computer, and if you have everything in one file, you can run it in a Jupyter notebook as well. I'll have to figure out this one because I never used Binder. I don't even like it, but everyone in GitHub, they put Binder and Collab, so I'm just trying to be fancy or just. Because even if you see, whenever you're running it, just to get all the environment set up, it just takes like 2 minutes. I mean, I don't want to wait. People wouldn't want to wait. But next one, I'll figure this out. It's gonna be in my mind. Any other questions?
I just have a request that you talk a little bit about your history of like, how did you get to the position that you have? Did you study? Did you go to school?
So I went to school in Venezuela, and I went to computer science. It's not the same. It's never the same. My country is really like many years back than US. So my technology background was like really, really out of date when I came here, and I didn't know the language. So I had to come here. I had to learn the language. I had to try to figure it out, find a job, and make sure that people understand what I was talking and why I was finding a job and all that stuff. So I went to and I looked for a customer service job because I was going to interviews and no one understood and everyone was lost. I was lost too. So so I just decided to get fluent. I learned the language. I did an intensive course like every single day because I was like, I need to get it down. I need to get it down. For me, it was really hard. It was really, really difficult. And I started getting a little fluent, and I said, well, if I talk more to people, I was really, really shy. So today, you see me here, and I wouldn't be doing this 10 years ago. I'll be like hiding and not talking because I was really, really shy. And I find that job, I started learning. I had good people around that helped me to understand and to learn more the language. And I said, I'm ready, but how do I get to IT now? I don't have too much experience. My experience in Venezuela was just technical support, and I didn't want to do technical support again. But I said, whatever they give me, maybe it's one stair to get to the other stair, to get to the other stair, and the other one. So this company, I applied for the corporate office. There was a technical support position, and they gave it to me, which it was another challenge. It was over the phone. And it was with people all around the country. So when someone would call me from Alabama, they were like, and I said, can you hold for a moment? Speaker, can you help me to see what they're saying? And that's how I kept going. And people, and I was in Georgia. I lived in Georgia for a couple months. And even in Georgia was hard, but people from Alabama, God. I just wanted to cry every time. So every day for me, and it was a challenge. So you'll be the best whenever you are in a call center for technical support, that you have to answer more calls. If you answer more calls, you are the best. You have to be the best, because if I'm the best, I can move and I can do things. So that's how I did. I was a leader in there. We had like 12 people, and then I told my boss, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So I started doing more support of the application. Like we would do debugging, and I'll go into the code and try to figure out what the problem was. Was it a database problem? Was it a code problem? And I was just moving here and back and forth. I was like, I have to get myself out there. I have to do it. And I was really, really shy, but I had to force it. So I was application support engineer for a while, and I started working a lot with data. They had me analyze a lot of data for the errors of the software to try to figure it out, what it was wrong, what it needed to be fixed. So I fixed a lot of data. I updated a lot of data. I cleaned a lot of data. that the system was, whenever the system was not behaving. And then after that, I became a data analyst. And I always had passion for data, and everything took me that way, which it was interesting. And I was not like looking forward to it, but it was the role was that way. And yeah, I had a rough time. I have to learn. Sometimes you even have a degree, and you just don't get there right away. So it's not required a degree. It's just all the efforts you do to get wherever you want to be. All right, thank you. Yeah.